Hi, today we're going to talk about Steve's date. Steve's a real person, but an assumed name. He was accused by regulators of doing something wrong and he protested. He hired a lawyer, they prepared documents, and they sent their documents to a person called a hearing officer. A hearing officer is someone who filters whether something goes on to court or whether the evidence is so significant that they dismiss it right there. Here's how the hearing officer ruled. Now listen to this. He'd rule on the pretrial motion after a trial and a ruling by a judge. No lie. I said to Steve, "What'd you do?" He said, "That was the easiest decision I ever made in my life. I didn't know the system was rigged against me." He then told me he'd been accused of 4 other violations the night before this ruling came out. Gee, you don't think that was coordinated, do you? I do. I tell this to a lawyer friend of mine. He says, "Well, maybe they needed more information." I said, if that's the case, maybe they should have said that. But they didn't. They said they'd rule after trial. That's ridiculous. So, Steve's on a date. He's telling a girl this problem. He gets to the point where he says, "You know what the hearing officer did?" She says, "Yeah, refused to rule." He goes, "Wow, that's embarrassing." She says, "Why?" He says, "I don't talk about this very often. I can't believe I already told you." She said, "You never told me this." He said, "How'd you know they wouldn't rule?" She says, "They never rule." "You don't know what I do for a living, do you?" He said, "I thought you worked for the Department of Education." She says, "I do. I'm in the legal department. We make a decision whether a child should be mainstreamed in a regular classroom or they need special ed facilities. If a parent protests it, they have a right to take it to a hearing officer. I'm in front of a hearing officer once a week. They never rule." I'm telling you these stories because it's disturbing. If you think you're going to be able to protest things, you won't. The answer to your problem is to have your documents prepared ahead of time so when the regulators come in and audit you, you can slap down, I call them slap downs in the ebook, slap down your documents in front of them. You have everything prepared in advance. That nips it in the bud and you don't go down this path. And that's it for today's video. Fiduciary Safe Harbor is dedicated to protecting you. So we went through interviews like this because we got to find out what the real deal is. Let me ask you, anybody ever tell you a story like that? Take the time? You're welcome. I'll see you on the other videos and take a look at our ebook. When you're ready to take action, click on the Get Started button. It'll set up a phone appointment between us and we'll talk then. You take care.